My name is Noah Whiteman, and this is assignment 1B for ENME489E. The climate crisis presents a bigger challenge than humanity has ever faced. As the Earth warms, people begin to consider more and more drastic solutions, and we should start with a revitalization of our economic system. Capitalism needs to be fixed. It cannot survive the climate crisis in its current state. There is a small group of people, such as fossil fuel executives and other emitters, whose prosperity is subsidized by the destruction of our atmosphere, and these people have profited immensely from destroying a collective resource. Whether you think about this as a tragedy of the commons or a problem with externalities, the simple fact is that a small group of people reap all the benefits of fossil fuel sales while passing a large amount of the cost on to be shared by humanity, especially the poorest among us. This is not a free or fair market. When that is the case, it is the government's responsibility to restore order to the market so it can do its work. The cost of carbon must be increased to reflect how much money it will cost to offset the effects on the atmosphere and on humanity. These are a few ways to go about this. The first and simplest solution is to implement a flat rate tax on carbon at the source. Every time that a carbon-emitting substance is burned, the people burning it will have to pay an additional fee to offset the damages from their emissions, set at a specified number of dollars per ton of CO2 equivalent emissions. This would likely remove coal from our power production mixture in a matter of years since it is so carbon dense, and would motivate a transition to solar, wind, and nuclear, which are all carbon-free. Alternatively, we could implement a cap-and-trade system. Companies that will need more emissions can buy more emissions credits, and companies that are able to decarbonize quickly will be able to sell their credits to others. We've seen this type of system work before with sulfur emissions, and there's no reason to expect that it couldn't work with carbon. Part of the genius of this strategy is that it creates a new market where emissions credits are the commodity, and their supply and demand will regulate the price on carbon. This system would have the same effect of creating market pressures to move towards carbon-free sources of power and reducing carbon emissions in other areas. The question now becomes, what do we do with the money generated by one of these programs after implementation? Two of the best options are to either divide the amount of money by the number of US citizens and send everyone a check for their portion of the carbon offset payments, since everyone will feel the effect of rising prices, or for the government to invest that money back into greener technology by buying electric cars, low-carbon public transportation, or subsidizing individuals' green purchases like more insulated homes. This may sound like socialism to some, but really this is how individuals are compensated for the effects of emissions on their life instead of allowing the emitters to keep all the rewards for themselves. If we are deliberate and quick, we can save the climate and our democratic capitalist system. If we delay, we may lose both. Carbon taxes are not the last step towards a solution, but they are an essential step. They would start having a positive impact on the environment immediately, and if we are serious about saving our climate and capitalist system, we should implement a carbon pricing scheme as soon as possible.